Michelle, why don't you tell our fine guests some things about Beaker?
So Beaker is actually, if you could see that beak, he uses that like tweezers, especially when hunting snakes. These guys are actually carnivores. They could eat snakes, rodents, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, so this guy is an Abyssinian ground hornbill, native to Africa. This is actually the largest species of hornbill. The second largest species of hornbill. There's more than 30 different species of hornbill. So knowing that we have the second largest species is pretty incredible. We have another hornbill here. His name is Lincoln. We'll be able to see him when you guys
are at
the zoo. Now, like Michelle said, this guy is a carnivore, so he's out there eating meat. And right now, his trainer Emmy is feeding him his favorite snacks: scrambled egg and some mice.
No, you don't want some? That is disgusting as far as
Yeah. It's supposed to be like that. He could actually make sound through that.
Yeah, so ground hornbills use that. It's called a casque, and they use it to amplify their calls over great distances. So, if they wanted to tell a fellow hornbill that something's up, they can use that so that sound can travel very, very far away. These guys can warn each other of predators, of something shiny on the ground, or try to call out for the female. All right, so me and Michelle are going to return to the stage. Now that was a pretty cool thing. We saw some pretty unique adaptations. That horn on his head, that red coloring on his throat. That's some pretty cool stuff, don't you guys think? Yeah, all right. Well, we've got another friend with some very cool adaptations. You guys are probably familiar with them. Does anybody know Sonic?
Yeah. Oh, hedgehog.
Yes.
Hedgehog.
What is?
The hedgehog?
Well, then I'm sure you know who our next guest is. Allow me to introduce you to our next friend, a little spiky friend, Chili, our pygmy hedgehog. And there she is right there. Now, Michelle, I'm sure we can all see, what is Chili's unique adaptation?
Well, if you could look at her, she acts
Spines, because spines are made of keratin, which is the same stuff our fingertip is coming around. She's got her spines nice and smooth. But when she rolls up into a ball, those spikes are now facing up, and that way...
Sorry about that. Someone's
This girl also has another strategy for trying to...
This is Paco.
That looks like
This is Paco. She is our red-crowned Amazon parrot. Now, isn't she quite a beautiful bird? Incredibly unique, especially Amazon parrots.
Oh god, I'm facing everyone. No, no. I hope this doesn't get deleted. I hope not.
You could notice, Paco's really
What the heck?
so cool.
It was doing Big Bird. Oh my
really
god.
helps her
Oh, it just made noise.
very well, especially
It
in
made
the
noise. Oh my god.
50 years old. That's older than a lot of people here in the audience. These guys are quite literally a lifelong commitment for a pet. There's also another reason why they don't make the best pets. They are perpetual toddlers. If you want a 5-year-old kid for about 60 years, get a parrot. They are loud, they are feisty, and they are spunky. Or actually blend into the that parrots are known for is.
Oh, that's a snake.
So this is Cornelius.
It's a
All
snake.
right.
It's a snake. Oh my god.
There are constrictor species of snakes. So when they'll catch their prey and they'll squeeze them until they can eat them.
Oh yeah.
So they're
Oh god.
All muscle. Their entire bodies are just... So a very fascinating thing about snakes that's also a very unique adaptation is that they actually don't have ears. Snakes do not. This is Little Joe, our leopard tortoise.
Oh god.
Now I want you guys in the audience. Hey guys, I want to play a game with you guys. I want to play a game with you guys. To tell a turtle between a tortoise is actually kind of a few things. One, we're going to look at that shell. Tortoises have a nice big dome-like shell. We actually have 2 more tortoises here on the zoo, Clarence our Galapagos and Tremor our sulcata. And you'll notice that they do have that nice domey shell. Whereas turtles, they have a nice flat shell because turtles are swimmers. Tortoises do not swim. turtles, they're all about that swimming. So that's another thing that you can look at is actually their feet. So you can see from little Joe, he's kind of got those elephant feet, some nice little stompers he's got going on. But on a turtle, those feet are more flat and they're webbed. They've got little webs in between their little fingers.
And as Jaden had mentioned about little Joe not being able to go fully in his shell, what does help with that is those strong part of his legs that are rough enough to actually protect him from predators.
That's actually a really good point. That's a good thing to point out. If you guys look at his front feet, you'll see that little bit of armor right there, kind of on his forearm right there. Yeah, no, so he's a pretty good guy. So this is actually another animal that lives in Africa. So this guy is going to be dealing with things like lions, hyenas, leopards. So it is so important to have that extra armor. But I think it's time we say goodbye to little Joe. Thank you, little Joe.
Oh, the coyote! Oh.
All right, Michelle, tell me about coyotes.
Coyotes are actually super successful predators and species in general. They could be found all over North America, from the heights of Canada all the way to Panama.
It's a real coyote. Oh my
The reason
god!
why they're so
Isn't it
where they live is because they will
It's really damn
almost
cute.
anything. They are opportunistic carnivores.
All the prey is going to start hibernating. This guy can survive off some various fruits and veggies. So that is a very unique adaptation these guys have. But I also want to call attention to Ranger's fur. Those colors and those patterns on his fur. Now, believe it or not, as big as Ranger is, that fur actually helps him blend into the environment around him. So if he's nice and sleeping in a bush, predators are going to have a hard time spotting him because he's blending in. You guys can probably see, even though we have a dirt stage, Ranger can actually blend in pretty well. Now another interesting fact about coyotes is actually their unique relationship with the North American badger, believe it or not. Even though both of those animals are solitary by nature, often there are times where you can see a coyote and a badger actually team up and become hunting partners. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a North American badger or know about what they do, but badgers are burrowing animals. They have large claws to dig holes in the ground. Coyotes do not. So what they'll do is a badger will go into the burrow of, like, say, a prairie dog or a jackrabbit and flush that prey item out of the burrow where the wily coyote can go and run it down. And that is how the thing about these guys is, Michelle, look how big those ears are. Compared to, say, like a domestic dog or some of the other animals we've seen, those are some pretty large ears.
Yeah. They could hear very well. And another adaptation I wanted to bring up.
That's pretty incredible. I know I can't run on my tiptoes.
Yeah, that would be pretty hard.
That would be difficult. All right, well, thank you, Ranger, and thank you, Jesus.
Bye, Ranger.
Two very dapper gentlemen, I must say. This is Woodrow.
Beaver.
He chops.
All right, I love the energy we've got going on.
So that was
Let's settle down a little bit. But just so we can tell you guys how awesome beavers are, Michelle, take it away.
On the planet, they're actually only seconds to capybaras.
Yeah.
And if you can take a look, if you can see those teeth, you might notice that they're orange. That's actually iron. His teeth are actually coated in iron, making them pretty strong, especially when they are chewing through wood and things like that. And another cool adaptation that they have that makes them
reporting how cute it is.
aquatic environments is their eyes. They actually have a clear sort of eyelid that goes over their.
Without beavers, the entire ecosystem could actually collapse. And that's because they're dams. The dams they are building diverts water to a different area. That diverted water creates wetlands. Those wetlands create flowers.
Making a dam that people had been planning out, trying to make for years, and they just did it within a few weeks, up to a month. And
we should
it
be
actually
hiring
worked
beavers.
very well. You could hire beavers.
I was gonna say we should hire some beavers. I need some plumbing work done. All right, well, as Woody makes his way off stage, we've got one more incredible animal for you guys. But I also want to talk about their fur as he's making his way off. Beavers actually have 2 layers of fur on them. of course, that outer layer, he looks a little fluffy, nice and soft. But because they spend most of their time in the water, you might think that they might get soaked, especially when they live in Canada. Being a wet animal probably wouldn't be too well. They'll get nice and chilly. But do not fret. Woody actually has a nice soft undercoat that is hydrophobic. Oh,
Zuri are emu.
It's an emu!
I brought up downstairs. I want you guys to look at those feet. Do those feet remind you of anything, Michelle?
Yeah, these were actually, emu feet were actually used to model the feet
Australian
that see in
craft.
Jurassic Park, such as the teeth.
Emus. They're actually the only birds that have calf muscles, which is interesting because with those calf muscles, these run up to 35 miles per hour, which should be the speed you guys were driving